Westminster focused on healthcare for women and children. Other royals have been born at Portland Hospital, including Harry's cousins, Princess Beatrice and Princess...
Okay, people, grab your tea and sit down because this is not a drill. You won't believe what just dropped, and honestly, we're still trying to process it. There's a hospital document, like actual legit paperwork, going around, and it flat out says Meghan Markle never gave birth to baby Archie. Yep. Let that soak in for a second. This isn't some flaky gossip thread on Reddit or wild speculation on a shady forum. We're talking about a real hospital record. And suddenly, boom, everything Harry and Meghan have been preaching since 2019 is being dragged into the spotlight and questioned like never before. How do you even come back from this?
It shows Archie, Harrison, Mountbatten, Windsor arrived May 6th. Not at their new home Frogmore Cottage like many had expected, but rather at a London...
So here's how it all kicked off. Quiet, almost suspiciously quiet. A stack of leaked memos straight from Portland Hospital in London, yes, the very place we were told Meghan gave birth, are now whispering a different story entirely. According to those documents, no admission, no birth record, not even a trace of Meghan Markle as a maternity patient on May 6, 2019. Now hold on, May 6, 2019, that's supposed to be Archie's big arrival date, the day the world was introduced to Prince Harry and Meghan's firstborn, except now we're being told that birth might not have happened the way we were told it did. And before anyone tries to say, oh, maybe she used a code name, let's just stop right there. Portland is a fortress for VIPs. They have elite systems for handling high-profile births, from aliases to private wings and ultra-secret protocols. Even under fake names, there are still legal forms, hospital records, logs, and guess what? Nothing. Not one document ties Meghan to that hospital on that day. One insider even spilled, yes, we had VIPs that week, but not her, not even under an alias. We checked. Mic drop. So what does that mean? It means people are now scrambling to figure out where Archie was actually born and who really gave birth to him. This is where things go from suspicious to straight up creepy. Remember how weird the whole birth announcement was? There was no big photo moment outside the hospital like William and Kate did with their kids. No flashing cameras, no proud royal wave, nothing. Instead, we got a vague little press statement, followed by a bizarrely staged photo shoot at Windsor Castle where Archie was bundled so tightly you couldn't even see his face. Like, who does that? And then came the timeline mess. First, the palace said Meghan had gone into labor that morning. Then hours later, surprise, they said she'd already given birth. What? Even seasoned royal reporters were scratching their heads. Chris Ship literally said on air, we're being told two different things at once. It made no sense then, and now it feels calculated. And here's the real jaw dropper. There's a woman, identified only as DL, in court documents who says she is the one who actually gave birth to Archie. Yes, you read that right. According to her, she was flown into a super discreet facility weeks before May 6th. She gave birth to the baby, was discharged quickly, paid and slapped with a strict NDA, told to keep her mouth shut. DL says she stayed silent until now. Why? Because seeing her son's face plastered on magazines while someone else calls him mine? Yeah, that broke her. And who wouldn't feel that way? Let's talk motives. Why would Harry and Meghan go to such extreme lengths? Simple. Optics. For a baby to be in the royal line of succession, he has to be the biological child of the royal spouse, meaning Meghan had to appear to give birth. Otherwise, no royal status, no title, no adorable mixed-race baby image to sell to Netflix. It's harsh, but it's the reality of the royal game. And suddenly, all those old conspiracy videos, they don't feel so crazy anymore. Remember that one clip of Meghan bending over and her baby bump looking like it folded like a flat tire? Back then, we laughed it off. People blamed the dress, the angle, but now experts are combing over that footage again. One body language specialist even said the bump seemed to move weirdly, too high some days, too low on others. The more you look, the weirder it gets. And when you add that to the missing records and DL's story, it's not a coincidence anymore, it's a pattern.
Shortly before 2 p.m. yesterday, Buckingham Palace announced that Meghan had gone into labour. Then, 40 minutes later, confirmed the baby's arrival. Yet the Sussex royal...
And just when you thought this couldn't get any more jaw-dropping, boom. It turns out even members of the royal family were raising their eyebrows at Meghan's whole full pregnancy story. Sources now say that palace whispers got loud enough that even the Queen, yes, Her Majesty herself, demanded photographic proof of Meghan holding baby Archie after delivery. Not a press pic, not a staged shoot, a real, private, just after birth photo. And guess what Meghan said? She refused. She said it was too invasive, that she wanted her privacy. But behind palace doors, alarm bells were ringing. One former aide said the Queen wasn't buying it. She didn't want a media circus, but she wanted the truth. And then came the birth certificate drama. At first, Archie's certificate listed Meghan's full legal name, Rachel Meghan Markle. But suddenly, with no warning, it was changed. Her first names were erased. Poof, now she was just Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. At the time, the palace brushed it off. Stylistic choice, they said, but now that little edit is starting to look incredibly shady. Critics are saying it was a legal tactic, a way to distance Meghan from the record and leave things flexible, suspiciously flexible. And as soon as this came out, social media exploded. People were livid. Comments like, "If Meghan didn't give birth, why did we all pretend she did?" were racking up thousands of likes. Another post that went totally viral said, "We don't need another Diana. We need the truth." This isn't just royal fan accounts anymore. It's mainstream. Piers Morgan's reportedly already sharpening his pitchfork, prepping a segment. Talk shows, booking experts, Twitter on fire, because this, if true, is not just deception. It's manipulation. Even in the US, where Harry and Meghan once basked in Oprah's glow, the tide is turning, the press is watching. And if those hospital records get verified and Dia releases her so-called receipts, international scandal doesn't even begin to describe it. Because remember, Archie's birth wasn't just a cute chapter. It was the moment that launched the entire Sussex rebrand. That Oprah interview, the Netflix series, the Spotify podcast, they all hinged on one thing: a loving, brave couple protecting their biracial royal baby from a cruel institution. But now, what if that baby wasn't even Meghan's biologically? And here's where it gets really brutal. If Meghan never gave birth to Archie, if it was all smoke and mirrors, then what's left of their brand? Harry, oh Harry, the prince who told the world he was just protecting his family, if he's been in on this the entire time, the sympathy train screeches to a halt. This wouldn't just be a royal scandal, it's next level betrayal. DL, the woman claiming to be Archie's biological mother, isn't backing down. Rumor has it she's preparing a tell-all, like full tell-all. 2 major media outlets have already been contacted. Her team's been delivering documents for verification. Hospital ID badges, NDAs, bank transfers, you name it. If she speaks, it's game over. There's no Montecito rebranding glossy enough to fix that. And let's be honest, this story's gone far beyond royal gossip. This is territory the monarchy's never seen before. If DL can show DNA evidence or authenticated hospital records, it could raise questions so big they land right at Parliament's feet. Why? Because Archie isn't just a baby with a fancy name. He's in the royal line of succession. And that line, it's not symbolic, it's legal. You can't fake your way in. You can't do a secret surrogacy behind closed palace doors and not disclose it. And here's where it gets real. Parliament might actually have to get involved. If Archie wasn't born of Meghan and no legal surrogacy documentation was ever disclosed, then his place in the royal line of succession becomes a constitutional issue. That line is written into law. You can't fake your way into it with photo ops and edited certificates. It doesn't matter how charming you are on Netflix or how many podcast interviews you give, the crown plays by rules. And if those rules were violated, it's not just a PR crisis, it's a legal one. Sources inside the legal community say there are already quiet talks happening. Discussions about whether Archie's place in the line might need to be reassessed. A constitutional historian even said this could be the most explosive royal dilemma in living memory. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that. Even the royals aren't immune from the law. And that brings us to King Charles. Privately, insiders say he's been shaken. Furious, not just because of the deception, but because of the ripple effect. If people start believing this story, if they start thinking that royal records can be faked, edited, staged, then what else will be questioned? Charles reportedly fears a public trust collapse. If Meghan and Harry did this and were enabled by royal silence or PR, what's next? How much longer before the public starts looking at the entire royal system with suspicion? And think about the legacy. The monarchy survived divorces, affairs, abdications, and tragedies, but it always had the one unbreakable thread: legitimacy. That the line of succession was sacred, that the heirs were born of the bloodline, that even if the drama exploded around them, the line stayed pure. But if this is true, that line just broke. And then there's Meghan. still completely silent. Not one word, not one appearance, not one tweet, blog post, or even a cheesy quote on Archwell. Just silence. Some say it's legal strategy. Others say she's in crisis mode. One source whispered she's frozen, doesn't know what to say, because what can she say? The moment deal goes public, shows the photos, drops the paperwork, gives her interview, the narrative crashes. And Harry, there's talk that he's begging her to say something, anything, before it all erupts, that he's panicked, that he knows the time bomb is ticking, and he's not ready for the detonation. But the public, they're ready. They want answers. People who once supported Meghan are now openly asking, how did we not see this? Former fans are turning skeptical. Tabloids are digging. Experts are dissecting every interview, every bump photo, every quote from 2019 like it's a crime scene. And the big question, what else have they lied about? Because if you can lie about giving birth, what's off limits? The entire Sussex narrative, the global sympathy, the public support, the billion-dollar media deals, it all stemmed from that one image, a young royal couple holding their miracle baby. But now that image might be fake. And if that's fake, the brand is fake. The trust is broken. The future is uncertain. This could go down as the moment everything changed, because deception this big doesn't just cost reputations, it costs legacy, it costs history. And even if Harry and Meghan try to spin, to deny, to hide, the questions won't stop. DL won't go away. The public won't forget. And the palace can't cover this one up with another no comment, so now we wait for the interview, the documents, the DNA test, the final truth bomb, because once it drops, the royal fantasy is over, and no amount of Montecito moonlight or Spotify therapy sessions can glue it back together.